Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another InGear Motorsport live stream. We're heading into round 2 of our British GT Championship. It feels like it was literally just yesterday that we done round 1 at Brands Hatch. Plenty of action there, and the drivers are back for more at a very cold Silverstone circuit tonight. So plenty of action coming up, I'm sure. Dominic Stallman, currently our championship leader, looking to extend his lead. Chrissy Palmer will probably be looking to get some payback for disconnecting whilst in the lead last time. And Harry Melvin and Buckin running out the top 3 will also be looking to advance on their positions. But lots of racing ahead of us. Before we jump too far into it, I'll be commentating on it tonight again with Charlotte. How are you doing today?
Yeah, all good, apart from every piece of technology that's in my hand right now has just decided to fail. So bear with me, people, while I get that sorted.
It feels like the earlier that we try and get set up and planned, it's harder than when we go to press live, everything just goes, oh.
Yeah,
but
we'll get there.
We're here.
Looking forward to it, though. I think the guys have been trying pretty hard, haven't they, over the last week or so. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and hopefully Chris's puppy won't log him out while he's in the lead this time. Who knows?
Nothing like your dog somehow pressing Alt F4 on a game. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. Cool. Well, let's just take a quick look at the timetable. So if you're new to this, you've got an idea of what's coming up. But it's our newer format for this British GT Championship, a little bit closer to what you'd see in actual British GT. They normally have a couple drivers in the car who would swap mid-race, but we've kept it as a sprint series, so one driver does an hour stint in our case. That race, we're coming up about 5-6 minutes behind schedule, but the drivers have just started their 15-minute qualifying session, then into the hour race, and then following on from that, we'll have a bit of a catch-up with whoever still wants to talk to us at that point. But I think we might as well jump straight into the action then in that case, and we can cover everything off as we go. And we can just take stock a little bit in the background and make sure that we've got everything that we need working. Because
I literally had everything, and it's just
it's always the way, isn't it?
Just sign me out of everything, but we'll get there.
So the first thing you'll notice is it's rather grey and gloomy looking, which to be fair, I've actually seen many times in the real world at Silverstone. I'm sure Charlotte has as well.
I've never been to Silverstone and been warm, ever.
Yeah.
I think it's a fact.
I was there earlier in the week with George, and we were doing some filming, and it was as windy as ever. So it was actually quite a pleasant day in terms of sunlight, but still very, very windy outside. So, and that was in a bit more of a sheltered technology park area. But yeah, it's a very, very windy place, Silverstone, usually quite cold, and presents its own challenges. The game doesn't quite simulate it in the same way, I would say, because you can have a tailwind in one corner and a massive headwind in another corner, and it really upsets the car's balance. So that is still kind of the case a little bit in the game, but I just think it's not quite as random as it might be in here.
True to form, my dad has just texted me going, "Hi, Hudson's in the black car with skull and crossbones on the roof." Thanks for that, Dad. Didn't know that. We've just got the camera on him, but yeah.
Yeah, actually the guy on camera.
Technically, he can see a little bit more than I can at the moment, though, with my technology.
So just having a bit of a look through the grid, it looks like 31 drivers made it in. So there's a couple I know couldn't make tonight in the end. So that's about right. After some last-minute server adjustments and all manner of things all going on at once, we're finally in business. And everyone's out on their qualifying session. So it's 15 minutes is the format. Fastest lap time determines the grid, and then following that, it'll be a 60-minute race. Now, what's interesting for the strategy side of things tonight, the drivers have a mandatory forced pit stop for these races. And on the strategy aspect, they opted not to take tyres last time, so they basically just did a splash and dash of fuel. But I have already heard from a couple that they're thinking about taking tyres this time round. Because one, it's very cold, so they're going to wear more anyway, and two, Silverstone is quite hard on tyres. You've got lots of very long corners where tyres are under load for sustained periods, and they get what's called graining, so the sort of surface of the tyre begins to fold away, and over time they then perform worse and worse, and then you're better off actually pitting than you are saving that pit stop and hoping to save lap time, but you just go slow and slow, don't you?
Yeah, I think as well, because it's such a long circuit and such a fast circuit, like you say, you are better off it's kind of doing like the balancing act at this point, aren't you? Better off to sacrifice a little bit more time in the pits and getting those tyres changed than actually shaving off or adding seconds to a lap over an hour. I think, you know, if it was the 45 minute race, then yeah, it's manageable. But this certainly isn't a track where you want your tyres to be going from you just because of, like you say, there is so many high speed corners through there. You know, you wouldn't want to go through cops and not feel fully confident, would you?
Just take a quick minute to see who's watching around the various parts of the web. So we're live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Feel free to say hello. It's always nice to see who's watching. And you can, of course, watch along with us and comment away, and we'll do our best to keep an eye on those. So just getting all the feeds up on my end so I can see everything as well. But yeah, do let us know. And good time to mention that halfway through the race, onwards, we start taking votes for driver of the day. So you can comment and chat your favourite driver, and they will then potentially get a championship point. So always worth doing that as well. But yeah, we're live across a few streams, and feel free to tell your friends if you know someone racing as well. Let us know. We can put the camera on them and focus on those cars for a little bit when we get a chance between whatever's going on around the rest of the field. Last time it was just absolute bedlam up and down in terms of battles raging across the front, mid, and even back of the pack. There were some good battles going on that we tried to keep on top of.
Yeah, so it was actually Stapleton who got the driver of the day point 2 weeks ago now. Fortunately, he can't join us this evening. I think he's going to be back with us though in a couple of rounds time, or
yeah, he said he'd be back. So just this one that he won't be here for.
It just shows though how important that driver of the day point is actually though, because that actually now currently keeps him in the championship. With that, so yeah, good to see him back when we do. I wonder how Melvin's doing today. Is he feeling on tip-top form?
Yeah, I mean, you almost wonder if that's a good thing if he is, because he was hungover last time and was the fastest car on track for most of the race. It was just unfortunate he decided to spend about an extra 30-40 seconds in the pits than probably what he needed to, I think, and I mean, lost that lead.
It was really his race to win, wasn't it? His outright pace was just absolutely insane the whole way through. Some really good overtakes as well, sort of picking off through the grid. Nice and clean as well. We did have some drivers out there that were putting on some more forceful moves. We always the first round of which is a long championship, so I think it always takes that, doesn't it? It doesn't matter whether it's sim racing or real life racing. Those first couple of rounds are just kind of working out who's who, how you can race against one another as well. I think is a really important thing to learn. But yeah, it was fairly clean the whole way through though, wasn't it, for an hour?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. I think there's a couple of misdemeanors where people got a subtle slap on the wrist in the background from a race director, and admins had a bit of a chat here and there, but you know, nothing too major, which is always good to see when, like you say, you have new people coming together. Hello, Warren. I've just seen Warren's message on YouTube. Good to see you back again. May as well count your driver of the day vote now, shall we? But good to see you back, and we'll see how the boy does tonight. Could I ask race director to jump on board with Ollie Moss, since he's currently the fastest man on track, and we'll take everyone for a spin around Silverstone at driver's eye level. We go for one more on that. Oh, every time. It's like we've got a secret feed where we know when the drivers are going to pull over.
It's the curse.
Yeah. So in that case, then Chrissy Palmer's out on track. That'll do. Heading into turn one, actually, as we speak. So that's good.
Just having a chat on here. So again, Dad has a messaging going, track limits.
Track limits, yeah.
Else. And it's actually a very good point. I think everyone was pretty okay at Brands GP. To be honest, you don't want to be pushing those track limits too hard there. As we say that, as Chrissy Palmer has a little bit of a wobble on coming out of there. But this is a circuit where we might see people start to suffer with track limits. So that is definitely something worth watching, keeping an eye out for.
Yeah, just had a request on Twitch from Amazing Arc to have a look at the overall standings, which I'm happy to do, and then we'll pick up Chrissy Palmer's next lap, I think. Or as much as it lets you fit on screen at any one time anyway. So there's currently 31 drivers in the server, and it shows you down to 24th. We'll kind of scroll through it a little bit, I think, when we're on the grid view, but we'll figure that out. Oh, we can scroll. The race director's happy to do that. Look, you're privileged. Amazing art. You'll actually scroll down for you. If there's someone in particular that you're looking for, let us know as well, and we can try and find them for you. But yeah, great to see these drivers returning. Of course, some very new to the series. We've got a mix of different E-Team Brit drivers. There's 4 separate teams of 2. I think there might be 1 team of 3 in there as well, actually, that have joined in for the first time. We've got Attack Vector Racing, who are new in there. And then we've got some of the kind of the staple members of the championship that have been around for a while. The Vegas Sim Performances. We've got our InGear Motorsport boys in the AMGs. I think those Mercedes are going to struggle tonight. It's a hard car around Silverstone. Chrissy's been working really hard just to get close. There we are. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's number 25 or 26, which is Arnold Das, isn't it? Or Arnold. He told me the other night on Discord to probably just stick to his first name. He probably listened to me butcher his last name and my British accent a couple of times. I thought, just call me Arnie.
Just really cackled then.
It's always a tricky one for us Brits. Okay, right. Did Chrissy just come out the pits? Oh, we've got Ollie now, haven't we? Okay. So Ollie also joined recently, joined the West Midlands Racing Squad and has been extremely fast. And that McLaren's looking really, really strong around here. I'm just wondering if we've had a car change from Mr. Moss from last time. But no, it wasn't the McLaren. Yeah. So we do allow that, but then people just basically give up their points that they've earned in the previous car if they did change car. So he hasn't anyway, but I just want to check. Right, we're going through what is on this version of the track for GT cars, the second, third, fourth section through Maggots and Beckett's. Then you come onto the long Stowe back straight. One of the fastest tracks in the country, Silverstone. Certainly one of the fastest tracks around Europe, in fact. But got some very fast-flowing sections. Fantastic when you have cars with a good bit of downforce, which these GT3 cars do. Nothing like Formula 1, of course, but they still have a lot of downforce from those big rear wings and front splitters. Coming to Vale then tightens up, and we go around the long right-hander here that opens out onto what would be the start-finish straight in a Formula 1 car. And you'll see on the right-hand side the big wing building that was installed in fairly recent years. Big upgrade addition to the track, this whole new section that we come through. Tightens up into some tight hairpins in just a couple moments time. Looking pretty nice and composed so far though. So it's the loop section, then the fast left of Aintree, and then we're on to Wellington Straight, which is just coming through here now. So that's Aintree. And onto the back of the Wellington Straight, you head towards the BRDC building. Heavy braking, and again you're braking and turning in at the same time into Brooklands and then into Luffield. Because it runs out to the outside on the exit of this corner, it runs wide, then you want to suddenly try and get the car into the right hand side, and it doesn't really want to do that because you need to try and get to the left to then get back to the right. It's a really busy section, and somehow try and get the power down without losing traction. If those wheels spin up too much, then you lose traction. But looking like a good lap. He goes 3 tenths faster, and now Ollie Moss is back on top spot with 2 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Chrissy Palmer will be looking to go a little bit better there, but Dominic Stallman, current championship leader, is in P2 as it stands. Let's keep an eye out for everyone else. Yeah, so you can see then Buchan is down there in P3, Chrissy Palmer P4. Stuart French, he was fast at Brands Hatch and had just joined from Red Shell Racing. He's down the number 28 car in P5. Corbin in P6, Mitchell in P7, and Harry Melvin for InGear Motorsport in P8 at the moment. So InGear Motorsport guys doing okay actually, considering that they are in a car that is not the favourite around here. And that's just down to the way, the little subtle differences in the cars. Some perform better than others. Oh, cool! I can see we've got another fan of Arnold on here. Gert14 on Twitch. Good to see you. How are you guys doing? Do either of you play this game as well? D. Lewis has made it in on YouTube as well. Good to see you. Shame you had to work tonight though, but hopefully we'll see you back at the next one. And there is back in on your screens at the minute then. The E-Team Brit driver was racing right at the sharp end from the word go at the last race out. Well, let's go and see how Arnold's doing quickly, shall we, as qualifying comes to a close, because we'll do a full grid readout very shortly once we come to the start of the race. So number 20, he's in 29th at the moment, number 18. They've actually put themselves together a livery for Attack Vector Racing, inspired by InGear colours and cogs all over the side of it. So it's nice to see the enthusiasm towards the series, actually. Been really, really keen and sort of interested and excited at all since he's joined.
Okay, I'm back in the room.
Got everything uploaded and set up now.
Back in the room. That was a full-blown restart of everything. So yeah, well done for that one. Yeah, I actually noticed their livery earlier when we come in, and I say this every time I get different favourite ones, but this is by far up there with one of my favourite liveries. Yeah, I think it looks really, really good. But maybe a little bit biased.
It's nice to have a little bit of different colours thrown in there.
Yeah.
Definitely. As the guys pull off to the side of the track. That was Clemson in the Nissan back there as well. Let's just see who's still out on laps at the moment. So Stallman's still out, Buchan's still out, and the 666 car for E-Team Brit. Got to be a bit nervous if you've got car number 666 following you, haven't you? Could be a bad omen. Okay, and then a bit further back from that is French still out on a lap and Roland Stallman out on a lap. So basically, when qualifying finishes, the session isn't immediately over. Anyone who started a lap before the timer reached 0 is allowed to finish that lap. So that's what we're currently seeing at the moment. It's about 2 minutes as an average lap time. The fastest lap times are just under that, 157s, 158s, 3.6 mile long circuit, the full international GP layout for Silverstone. So decent length of a lap. One of the longer lap times, considering we were talking about 140s, 139s, that type of lap time around Brands Hatch, I think it is. So a little bit longer in a lap. Very fast flowing circuit as well, and D. Stallman opting to come into the pits on this occasion. Well, I think what we'll do is we will let the guys that are still finishing a lap finish it. We'll see if there's any changes when we come back from a very short break, and then we'll be ready to go for the full grid readout. Here we go then, everyone. It's nearly time to get racing at the Northamptonshire circuit of Silverstone, the home of British motorsport as it's known, and a rather grey and cold looking Silverstone for us today. But Ollie Moss then for West Midlands Racing held on to pole position after setting that stunning lap just a few minutes to go. Buchan in P2 for E-Team Brit. French jumped himself up to third, just leapfrogging Dominic Stallman there into P4 for him. Chrissy Palmer doing a good job in that AMG to still get some damage limitation, I'd say, from qualifying to come out in P5. Was leading the last race and on pole for the first round at Brands Hatch, but that AMG is a bit of a handful around here. Corbin in P6, Roland Stallman that is, in P7, part of Vegas Sim Performance, so both the Stallmans in the top 10 as well. There's Kirk Heath. Warren will be pleased to see Kirk up in the mix there for West Midlands as well in P8. Mitchell in P9 as the drivers begin their formation lap period. So they'll do one full lap of the circuit before we continue. Melvin in P10 for InGear Motorsport as well. Points run down to 12th, so it's the top 12 positions that drivers are going to be fighting for today. Van Manikis in 11th, Curran in 12th, Murray in 13th, Massey in 14th, Billingham has returned for Attack Vector Racing. He's just joined as well in the Bentley, so welcome back to Billingham to see him again. Bedoya in 16th, Pound in 17th, Price in 18th, Hudson, Charlotte's Godbum's partner down in P19 there, coming repping hard there for the family. So good to see he's made it. Hello Ian and welcome. First formal live stream race, I think.
I know,
yeah.
Exciting.
There's Neil Kidd back in, just flickered there for a second, 20, Renberg in 21st for the Spearhead Race Engineering Squad. Just realised no Bjorkman, but I remember him saying he's not here as well, so that's definitely one of the strong drivers missing from this round who will be dropping it. Eisner for 22nd, Max Spooner for E-Team Brit, also behind his teammate there in 23rd, Klimpson in 24th. And that is as far as the grid's letting me go at the moment. Thank you. It's the way the UI works. It's a bit tricky sometimes. Wood in 25th, Tyler in 26th, Balestros in 27th, Sharman in 28th. Arnold, he said himself just to call him Arnold, and us British trying to pronounce his surname is not. You don't want to hear that. Phil in or Lima in 30th, and Christiaki Andreas, who's his teammate, in 31st. I've just seen Heath drop back on the timing screen there.
Yeah, he just messaged in the WhatsApp chat.
What happened?
Starting from the pits now.
Oh, you're kidding. He's going to be absolutely fuming with that.
I am secretly now looking forward to a Heath charge, though. We know it's something that he's very, very good at. He's clearly got the pace as well. He is going to be on a mission, so we need to keep our eyes peeled for that. And the guys in the background will be certainly watching him pick off everyone one by one. So I'm still fairly confident for a strong finish for him. So I'm being a positive Polly today.
Yeah, no, I think if he can get into the points, that'll be a strong effort. Then you've got, I've just seen Paulina's joined the chat as well. Hello, good to see you. How are you?
Happy birthday for yesterday.
Happy belated birthday. How was it?
Yeah, cake looked amazing.
How's your head today? Any headaches, or was it kept sensible before a school night? Well, there we are then. So at this point in time, the drivers will be doing as much as they can to warm their tyres up because basically it's cold at Silverstone today. And in fact, if I check, it's currently 13 degrees air temperature, 18 degrees track temperature. And if you're new to this, you may wonder why they're different. The track does warm up a little bit as it has 30 plus race cars driving around it for a length of time. So it gets a little bit warmer and that generates a bit more grip in the tyres for the guys. So they'll start to form up then as we come round towards the, in fact, yeah, we're just about to start the race in a couple of corners time. So they're about to slow right down and then we'll be racing in just a moment. So on that front row then, Ollie Moss in the black WMR McLaren. Alongside him, you've got Buchan in the white Lexus for E-Team Brit. Stuart French, the red Aston Martin just behind that. Dominic Stallman, the blue Aston Martin just behind that. So McLaren's, Aston Martin's, Lexus all looking good here. And then you've got Chrissy Palmer trying to catch up from the multicoloured red and orange InGear Motorsport car up the inside of those guys. So all about to get a little bit exciting as we head into the very fast right-hander of Copse when this race gets underway in just a second. So Moss the black inside McLaren there any moment. Lights to green. We're racing 60 minutes on the clock as we head into turn one. Chrissy Palmer looks like he's going to have a look on the inside of French there. French nearly clipping the back of Dominic Stallman's blue Aston Martin, but gets off to a good clean start and no contact made. Not a bad start as well for Corbin in the other E-Team Brit in the Nissan, but it looks like Buchan's challenging Moss for the lead as they go into Maggots and Beckett's. Very hard to run side by side through there. Moss fends him off. We're coming into the final part of this little S section as we head out onto the back hanger straight heading down into Stowe. So far so good. I see a couple cars off in the gravel in the background, but nothing too major as it would seem so far. We'll of course pick them up as we go, and we're going to have a little look at some replays later on. But Moss gets himself a bit of a gap now as Stallman gets himself into P2 and is now, I fending off Bucky going into Stowben. So far, so good. Everyone making it through the next big challenge, I would say, of this lap. Kirk Heath's made it out of the pit lane. I can see on the timing screens he'll be ready to begin his charge of his long evening drive back through the field. Chrissy Palmer then challenging for a position there from the E-Team Brick car, just the orange car and red car going around the outside of that white one. Just we've switched a little bit further forward. But Stallman looking quite dicey and quite strong at the open stage of this race. He's now pulled that gap back into Moss very, very early on. Keep us posted who your money's on for the racing over in chat. Paulina had a couple Proseccos and not feeling too bad today, so that's good to see. Danny is on as well. We'll see if we can pick up Danny later on. I saw Neil, and we've got Murray back with us tonight as well. I didn't see if he actually joined the chat, but we'll worry about all that later, because at the minute we've got Moss coming under pressure from Dominic Stallman in the blue Aston Martin. They've both just pulled a little bit of a gap out from Buck in there in the E-Team Brick car, but of course a long way to go. And I think at this point everyone will be looking not to do anything too silly and just keep themselves on the tarmac and in the race, because of course to finish first you must finish. But if we just drop back a couple places, we can see that's the first cliche of the night. Charlotte's laughing at me.
I'm just waiting for the second.
We've got a bit of a train forming here. Then that's Corbin at the front of it at the moment as they go choo-choo into turn one.
That was the
big skid there.
The second one
big skid. Classic, isn't it? The Nissan going sideways there. You do see Nissan's big on the drift scene, so I think Corbin wasn't quite sure what game he was playing for a moment there. As Chrissy Palmer loses the rear end now, can he avoid any big contact? They managed to split around either side of him. I think he's going to get going again, but that was a very big moment there, and both Melvin, his teammate, and Corbin had to take evasive reaction, and that was extremely good reflexes there from the guys. If we jump back up to Corbin, we can see he's having to fend off Mitchell now going around the outside of the Spearhead Race Engineering car, so currently the best placed Spearhead Racing Engineering car at the moment. Curran just behind that, so they're running 2 by 2, or they were, and they've now got a Corbin in the middle of them. And that's put Melvin up into P4, that little incident, and probably given a nice gap to Moss and Stallman. And Bucking, yeah, that's a 4-second gap now from third place down to fourth off of that little incident. Interestingly, second, third and fourth are all running ballast following last week's race. Right, let's just take a very quick moment to bring the full screen scores up, or leaderboard standings is the word I'm looking for. Scores on the doors. It's not points just yet. They've got to finish first. So you can pick out anyone that you're looking for.
56 minutes to go
so there's Murray down in P13, we were just mentioning, for Sheba Garage. Danny Price in P23 at the moment. Of course, 31 cars started this race, and 31 cars still in this race. So still not going too badly there at all.
Where's Heath?
Arnold is up into P16. So for the Arnie fans in Twitch, you'll be pleased to see that he's made some progress there. He's in P16, and points go down to 12. So if I can get a few places further up, that'll be good for him. And also, if you didn't catch it earlier, we do a driver of the day point as well, which basically everyone in chat can vote for their favourite driver. The most votes that we get by the end gets an additional championship point. It actually promoted Harry Stapleton from something like 25th to 13th last week. So well worth sticking around for that. Just looking ahead there, that red car of French having a great little battle. As we see Mitchell lose the rear end of his Porsche there and just start to go around the wrong way. Or was that Curran? We'll make sure we get that right first. Yeah, it was Mitchell. So we've just lost Mitchell. That's put Curran up into P7. And Corbin's got himself settled down now in P6. But it's the battle just a bit ahead of this. If we go to French on Melvin, and perhaps if we ride on Melvin's rear wing, that might be quite a nice look for everyone. So Melvin in the black and orange InGear Motorsport car. And currently being chased by Mr. French there. So at some point during this race, all the drivers will have to do a mandatory pit stop. Yeah, we've got requests to show Arnold. We will get down there in just a moment. They're doing quite a good job. I think this battle might get a little bit dicey in a minute. Harry Melvin carrying ballast following his result in the last race where he came second. So that's 20 kilograms extra weight on his car that he's having to lug around. And it looks like it's giving French a little bit of edge way to get in here. We just see where Chrissy Palmer ended up after he got going again. Yeah, and that's of course going to get worse as the tyres get older, isn't it? AMG quite heavy on its tyres anyway, with ballast, and at Silverstone, it's definitely going to start to pay the price later in the race. But good start for Melvin. We always said, kind of as an InGear Motorsport team, that it's a bit of a damage limitation race for this team tonight. And after running 1-2 in the previous race until Chrissy disconnected and Harry pitted for too long, and it all went to crap a little bit. It's not too bad actually this time so far. Okay, right. Let's see what's going on with Arnold a bit further down then, shall we? We'll try and keep our eye out on what we can pick up as we go. But any other requests in chat? Just in time to see him going a little bit wide, going through Cops, I think that was, yeah. As we head into Maggots Beckett's. He's got his work out goes well. Look, he's got Balestros for 18-bit Brit just behind him, the number 19 car. Aston Martin on Aston Martin there. As they take a little bit of grass there as they come through the exit of Maggots Beckett's and Chapel onto Hangar Straight.
Yeah, he'll be wanting to kind of think a little bit sensibly here. You know, we've still got pretty much 50 minutes, just over 50 minutes left on the clock. You can see we've already seen a few of the drivers start to run pretty wide, haven't we, through this. They will start to get hurt and penalised for this if this continues over the race. So it's one of them, isn't it? It's so early on, you're better off to almost sacrifice the game, if that makes sense, and do a bit of a tactical drive here. But Balestros is all over the back of him now, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He's got his mirrors full of the other Aston Martin now, the Team Brit car, trying to find its way through. I think there's a few drivers who maybe didn't get the best of qualifying because it seems like there's a few drivers looking to move forward very, very quickly. You know, Dominic Stallman gained a couple of places and looked very strong. French looked pretty strong at the start of the race, and Melvin actually got himself into a good position there quite quickly. Of course, that incident with Chrissy definitely, you know, created a bit of drama, shall we say, for mixing the grid up. But yeah, as the race goes on, you're going to see strategies play out and definitely make a bit of an impact on this.
Should we check in on Mr. Hudson to see?
Oh, I just saw one place back there, Bedoya, or one place up the road, I should say. Bedoya is another battle. Yeah, sorry, I just caught that as you were saying it to interrupt. But yeah, I think that's probably settled now anyway. Yeah, let's find Mr. Hudson, see how he's getting on. What if it... There he is with his pirate flag on the side.
I would have put that as a livery for him.
I can't say I expected it, but you know. Why don't you tell us about his foray into the world of sim racing so far?
Well, you actually have spoken to him more than what I have over all of this. But yeah, he's been working seriously hard in the background, hasn't he, to get himself up to pace to end this championship. Got a pretty mega setup as well. It's pretty fair to say. I mean, that's not a bad effort, is it? You think 27th first race out. He had to miss last round, didn't he, at Brands GP? I think he has done some real life laps around here, if I remember. I know he's done quite a few track days previously. I would be fair to say that I think he's probably driven around here, maybe on 2 wheels though, rather than 4.
Yeah, quite likely. I think McLaren do track days there. He might have been 2 or something like that as well.
Yeah, might have done a few McLaren stuff.
Definitely. I just saw in the background, Danny Price had a bit of an incident there with someone, potentially contact, but I'm not sure. I just saw he ended up on the grass going through Maggots and Beckett. So if one of the guys in the background could look into that, Danny Price would have been lap 4, maybe lap 3, venture off into the grass, see what caused that one. Right, I've just seen Chrissy Palmer just having a bit of an incident with Wood there as well, just a little bit higher up in 24th, 25th. It may well change though as they start to go through. We could switch to that. Yeah, so Chrissy Palmer's afternoon or evening going from bad to worse so far, it would seem, once again. Of course, we haven't caught all of that. We'll see if we can get some replays working in a bit. It's always been a bit of a challenge on the streaming front lately, but yeah, clearly not happy with that AMG this afternoon. I know we were testing last night a little bit. I was doing some laps with him and he was struggling to find a nice balance with the car. Was able to set some lap times.
Yeah, it's probably worth us taking note of Heath at the moment. He's moved up quite quickly and nicely up the grid. So he's currently running in, I'm looking at 2 different screens here, one saying P19, one saying P20. So that's just the way the splits. But I think he's currently in P19 at the moment. So he's fully on the charge at the moment, isn't he? He started dead last from the pits. And he's clawing his way back up there. Just another little spin there as someone goes into the wall. Try and see who that is.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure as well on that one. I was trying to see that incident from before and what was happening. Interesting that it seems
here, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it seems that drivers are having a bit of a moment, and then it's causing a slightly bigger incident because, of course, they lose control of the car. They're then off track or coming back on track at an angle or whatever. It's not contact between cars. It's mostly cars just struggling with the conditions, and we expected that a bit on the cold track tonight, but clearly it's a bit of an issue from the get-go rather than later in the race. It's already quite a challenge for everyone.
Yeah, this is where consistency will be absolute key as well, because you can do all that hard work, get yourself back up to the front, and then just throw yourself off. As we see Chrissy make the move there on
Bart Van Menneke's Dutch driver that joined just this race.
I just stared at it.
Yeah, welcome to Bart as well, actually. Good to have you. Yeah, so we've just had it confirmed in the background that the Chrissy incident and Danny Price incident was just driver error, so just lost the car. And it's so easily done here, as I was saying. In the real world, even a gust of tailwind can upset the rear grip enough to spin the car, believe it or not. But in this case, just bouncing off a curb, hitting the power a little bit too quickly, whatever it might be, once it's gone, it's gone. You don't have much steering lock in these racing cars to try and commit to a slide. What would be good, actually, if we just jump on board with Chrissy quickly, because I think we're going to see a bit of a masterclass in overtaking, not to risk the commentator's curse once again, as we come into Maggots, then Beckett's, and then we wrap off this section with Chapel Bend heading out onto Hanger Straight. So we're currently behind Hamish Eisner, also an E-Team Brit driver. Chrissy will be looking to now get the run down into Stowe Corner as we drop under the bridge, quite a long straight this, and then into some braking. Looks like he's going to get it onto the inside, looking okay so far. Can he get it stopped okay and make it all commit nice and neatly? Looks good to me. Chrissy Palmer then back up into P20 as he's looking to recover from that early disaster he had. Yeah, like Charlotte said, Kirk Heath just a couple cars up the road. Definitely worth mentioning his progress. What do you think, Warren? Not a bad start, really, is it? From pit lane in 31st up to 19th. 18th now.
Yeah.
He's gained another one.
He's on the charge, isn't he? Massively.
Yeah, and you know what? Providing he keeps this up, I'm sure he'll probably say that he really enjoyed this if he can get himself into some points. Regardless of the fact it could have been a bit better.
Or a bit easier.
Or easier. Definitely.
Let's check in with the front end of the grid now. Let's see. So we've got Ollie Moss still up in P1 with Stallman on his tail. Really good outing from Ollie Moss, actually.
Yeah.
West Midlands Racing.
As Dominic Stallman's actually coming under pressure from Bucking now. Remember, Dominic Stallman having the most ballast of anyone at the moment because of that race win last time at Brands Hatch. So he'll be looking to try and, again, just hang on to as many points as he can. But that 30 kilograms will start to hurt him as we go further and further into this race. We're already a quarter of the way, believe it or not. So, yeah, I think stick with us if you're enjoying it so far, because there's going to be plenty more to unfold as tyres really start to go off. In about 15 minutes' time, then we'll start getting towards the time where we'll probably see people pitting, although it is all very open for people to pit and do what they want with the strategy. They don't have to take tyres. They can refuel a lot, or they can just put it all in at the start and not have to refuel mid-race. And I know some people have actually tested the difference. As these two coming past Hudson, I think that is, or is that? No, that's not Hudson. In fact, that was... I think that was either Andreas or... yeah, it was Andreas Christiaki there. He kind of had one car one side of him, one the other, and I know he wouldn't have meant that, but just got a little bit in the way there. And he's now, I just looked further back, he's moved right off track to let the next couple through. I wouldn't... I wouldn't blame him too hard for that, but just a little bit. I think just a little minor bit of inexperience on what to do in
Yeah.
that situation, I think was probably the best way to put that one.
Yeah, I mean,
luckily they both got through unscathed.
I was going to say that's a pretty challenging situation for him as well. Got on 2 foot. He's just in the sandwich there, isn't he? And it's actually like you could argue that the more experienced drivers should be following each other through rather than trying to squeeze him each side.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest.
Yeah, there definitely is that. Again, anyone over in chat, whether you're on Twitch or whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, let us know what you think so far, and also if you want to see a particular driver or anything at all, camera angles, I don't know, let us know. We'll do our best, or questions in general, really. If you're new to this type of thing and you have questions, Charlotte and I are happy to do our best to answer them.
As long as they're not too hard.
Yeah, nothing too hard.
Yeah, that little instant there did actually help Storm to stretch his legs just for a moment or two there, but you can see that Buchan, is that correct?
Buchan. Yeah.
One
of the many Scottish drivers that have joined us.
Has got more pace at the moment. Dom is very, very good, though, at making his car extremely wide without it being overly aggressive. Every now and then you'll see like a very aggressive streak from him, but it's always very precise. But yeah, Buchan is certainly looking and making his Lexus very, very wide in the rear mirrors of that Aston Martin there.
Just seeing Billingham for Attack Vector Racing has entered the points down in P12. If we just maybe bring up the standings briefly for people to have a quick look at, then you can see as well. Murray's made it to P10, which is good for him. Spearhead Race Engineering then, after a little bit of chaos being involved in some of those spins, Curran hanging on there in P9 as well. So some of the regulars in the points and some of the new guys in the points. So it's nice to see the mix. But of course, it's Ollie Moss at the minute who's doing a sterling job out front here at Silverstone tonight. But so far then, Dominic Stallman fending off the charge from Buchan to try and get himself back up into P2 where he started this race. And Dominic Stallman was down in P4. So Stuart French is now in P4. So he's lost out a little bit from where he was as well. So a bit of a shake-up in the top 4, but ultimately still the same top 4 cars. Perhaps if we have a look for who to ride on board with, or see some battles going on.
Where's Harry? Where's
Harry's not quite no man's land, but he's a second behind French and 2.7 seconds ahead of Corbin. So he's got his own space a little bit now.
I wouldn't say that's a particularly bad place to be at the moment, considering there's still 40 minutes of this race left. We know that car is not the best round two or the most suited to it. You know, if he could claw that back, I think you'd be happy with that and kind of take that, wouldn't you, when you've got a lot running against you, really. He's got ballast on as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not a bad play. Oh, actually, I just saw him going off in the back of shot there.
That was jinxing.
We've got to stop this. I think we legit curse people. He just went a bit wide through Beckett's, I think it was, and just clipped the grass a little bit, and you have to fully come out of it if you do that, because if you don't, you'll then completely spun around. So actually, he done the right thing just to then run across the grass slowly. But yeah, wow, that was a tricky one for him.
Yeah, Warren's put over on YouTube Heath's #1 fan, very loyal, always there, which we love. Really charging, but what caused the problem? I don't actually know is the honest answer. What caused the problem, Mackenzie?
I'm also just pleased that Warren picked up on my little bit there about
I didn't even pick up on that.
Moss on a sterling charge. Thank you, Warren. It's good to have you. Someone can get my little anecdotes. Yeah, Aston is very popular.
I don't think there is any Ferraris, is there?
Any Ferraris? No, there's a Lamborghini.
Lambo.
No Ferraris.
Nope.
No, we've got Hondas, Lexuses, Aston Martins, McLarens, Porsches, Nissans, Lamborghinis, BMWs,
Basically
AMGs,
everything but a Ferrari.
Audis, Bentleys, but we got no Ferraris.
Just putting the focus back on this Storm and Buchan debacle that's going on here. Sterling job, isn't it?
I've got you at it now.
I didn't even mean to do that. I'm going to go with it though. Sterling I've lost it. Sterling effort there by Storman. This will start to hurt him though. One of these two is going to have to kind of break first. Who is going to break first and go into that pit window?
Yeah, that is a thing, isn't it? That's definitely the thing. Two fantastic liveries, by the way. Something that I just want to take a moment. The Vegas Sim Performance livery looking good if Storman, and the E-Team Brit livery looking very good.
on that note, we should head down to Roland Stallman, so the father of the father-son duo, for Vegas in performance, and just check in and see how he's doing, because he has sent across a very useful spreadsheet for us, hasn't he? To help calculate things very quickly. So yeah, we really do appreciate that. We have a lot of people working in the background to help us get this going. I mean, I usually turn up 30 minutes before. That's my role.
Well, no, it's definitely a team effort, isn't it? Between
it's a lot of effort.
You know, for relatively small team of us compared to some leagues as well. We've got George in the background helping with replays and the sort of stewarding side of the things. Ben's race director, the man behind the cameras, and usually behind a can of Monster Energy drink somewhere. Hence why you'll notice a lot of the cars now have Monster Energy logos, paying respect to race director Ben. But including this one we're looking at the moment. He said he's still alive. I mean, they can still pay respects to you. And yeah, no, but like Charlotte says, a big thanks to Roland for helping with that as well, because for our team it's difficult. And we've got Heath, who's in the race. Oh, sorry, Warren, I don't think we actually answered the question, but I think Heath was actually helping sort some admin out on the back end of the server. Didn't have as long as he thought he had, and by default it then puts you in the pit lane to start the race. So if anything, I think it's partly our fault that he was helping us.
I would give him the driver of the day.
Yeah, he probably does
that, because otherwise this wouldn't be happening.
Yeah,
I think he does deserve it for that pure reason.
Yeah, he was helping us reconfigure the ballast settings in the server, because we had to do a restart just before, just to get everything set up the right way, and then it resets the ballast situation. So yeah, Heath was helping us with that. Didn't get back into drive mode quick enough, and then it put him in the pit lane. So it probably was cussing some swear words of some sort at us, I'm sure. So Massey, by the way, for Attack Vector Racing in number P7 at the moment, just a bit further up. So it's the car just one ahead of Roland Stallman that we were looking at. Again, fairly new to the series. They're sporting their new livery, so if we just jump onto that quickly, you can have a look. We saw Arnold's earlier on. How are the Arnold fans doing? Are we still there? Arnold at the minute, he dropped back a little bit more, but he's now in 22nd. So he kind of dropped back and then has come back a little bit again from there. Chrissy Palmer just having a bit of a stock take as we look on here. Chrissy Palmer back into P16 between Balestros and Spooner at the moment, and Heath in P18. So I think Heath had got a tiny bit ahead. No, he was P18, wasn't he? Where he'd got to. So he's slowed down a little bit on his charge through the pack, but of course still a really good effort so far, and I'll be looking to see if he can go further. Still not even halfway yet, so plenty left to unfold. Billingham is also just a bit further back for the same team. He's took the Bentley. As I can see, some Spearhead Race Engineering cars running very wide in the back of shot of Massey there. But if you go back to P10, please, Mr. Race Director. And we can... Charlotte's just had the biggest sneeze in commentary box ever.
I said about 6 in a row. It's painful holding it in.
What's everyone's favourite liveries out there so far? What have you seen? It's one of the things that I'm really pleased that we're able to offer is for people to customise their own liveries. Not a lot of leagues allow it yet. I think there's some big ones to do it, but it's quite tricky to do. So, yeah. What's everyone's favourite? What do you like? What
While
cars
we're
do you
waiting for them to come in, can we just have a quick update? So what lap times is Ollie Moss doing, if we use him as the benchmark, and then what's Heath doing, just to see kind of where he's at? And then I always like doing this, I kind of sit in the background and work who he's
59.8 at the moment is Ollie Moss. 59.8, 59.3 is his best. As the pit window has just opened, so pit stops can happen any time from now. Let's keep looking at lap times though. Dominic Stallman, 2 minutes, 1:59.6 is his best, so he's about anywhere from half second to a second off Ollie's best times.
And where's Heath?
Buchan, similar. French, 59.8. So French has actually caught them 2 up. So let's just drop back to Kirk now that we know what we're looking for, and I can have a look in the background. Kirk done a 2:03.1 last lap, but he looks like he's in traffic. And in fact, let's jump to Kirk for a second. There you go. Warren, you can catch him trying to get past Max Spooner at the moment. Should we have an onboard view? Because we've not had many onboard views of Silverstone yet tonight. Or what about bonnet cam? We like a bit of bonnet cam. Sit on the bonnet of this BMW.
Going through cops is always not cops.
Just as he comes to the inside of Max Spooner, very hard place to overtake this. Hopefully, there's nothing too tight here. I think Max Spooner's going to probably back out of that. Heath's got through, and Kirk Heath making up another place then on his charge through from starting on the pit lane in this race. But you can see then in the top left, his lap times best is a 59.2. So actually, one of the best laps, if not potentially the best lap of the race that he's done. Let's see what he can do when he gets some clear space. So we'll check back on that in a minute, now that he's got past Spooner, and see what happens. I just saw a yellow flag waving. But we shall see. Stop and go for car 172. Who's 172? That'll be Liam Sharman. Wonder what he's doing. If we could find out, please, in the background, what happened to Liam Sharman and stop and go penalty. That'll be wonderful. Any comments over on chat? So
yeah, Benny, can we put bonnet cam on Heath while we're watching him on a bit of a charge? Because I think it's good to kind of get a driver's eye.
Who did he just pass then? Oh, that was Phil getting out of the way. Just see Renberg for Spearhead Race Engineering is in P11 as well. I'm playing a few different games with Renberg lately. Pretty mean on in a truck is Renberg. Probably one of the liveliest Swedish people I've ever met. It's brilliant. So good to see him going well in the Audi up in P11. So where a couple people have pitted, that's now put Kirk up into 13th. So that is partly down to pit stops.
This is a really good time for him though, to just, why he's got some clear air, just kind of get on with it. I would imagine he's probably going to leave it right until the last couple of minutes to pit potentially.
Yeah, I mean, while he's got time, or got good times.
Just get some space, kind of get on with it. So if that makes sense, isn't it? It's just take advantage of this.
I mean, while he's got space, yeah, definitely. And the pit window though is just under 7 minutes now until it closes, so it will have to be in the next couple laps. But it's a good chance to get his head down, like you say, for sure. The next target then is actually for points, which is Balestros. But as I say, I think there's a couple pit stops that have happened that will be having a little bit of an effect on that. You can tell who has had a pit stop and who hasn't on your screen in the bottom left at the moment. Currently, all the ones immediately visible around Kirk have not had a pit stop because they've got the little yellow background and the number 1. And then when that turns green, it means they have served their mandatory pit stop. So that's a way to know while you're watching who has and who hasn't pitted. Interested to see then. Actually, he dives into the pit lane then, perhaps a lap or two sooner than we thought. And let's just. Ooh, he left that late. He left that late on the pits. That was a slick pit entry.
That was good.
Very
That's
nicely
exactly
done.
what you want to be doing.
Yeah. Now let's just give it a moment. Maybe switch to aerial cam so we can see who passes. And I would say, judging by that time so far, he's certainly going for fuel. If we reach the 30-second mark, then he's gone for tyres. So I think let's just give him a chance to see. I think he's getting. I think that looks a lot like tyres to me. As you see, Arnold just coming through there after doing his pit stop, just exiting the pit lane there at the top of your
Minus
shot.
the pit crew running around frantically getting it done.
Race director must have pit crew turned off, I think. So actually, I think you only see your pit crew if you're the driver, in the way the game does it, just to help with everyone's, basically, the load on the cars. As Sharman's just delivered his stop and go. Right, well, we definitely know now then Kirk Heath has pitted for tyres because that was a long enough pit stop.
Yeah.
So watch out for him at the end of this race. Because I bet some won't. Some will try and chance it. Right, so he's come back out in P22. And of course, some people behind him won't have pitted yet. I reckon, and look, he's fed into space.
Yeah.
If he'd done that deliberately, then that was very good timing.
So the top 3, Moss, Stallman and Buchan, they all are yet left to pit, I think, if I saw that correctly on your screen, Mackenzie.
Yeah, so that's correct.
So the top 4 actually are currently left pit. Now they're leaving it extremely late, so we've literally got 2 laps left in this pit window, haven't we?
So the first man out of the front few cars that did opt for a pit, it would appear, was Stuart French, who was running P4 or 5 at the time. He's now dropped right back. So where's he actually gone down to? Let's just have a look. This is what I love. It's just seeing the strategy. Oh no, he is in 5th, but I think he's just actually he hasn't either. Then it's just the way it is on the screen sometimes, the way we see it. But fair enough. Okay. Well, Ollie Moss was actually getting his lead eaten into a little bit, but it looks like he might be pulling it back out. So if we jump back to that front little squad for everyone. So Moss, Stallman, Buchan, Corbin. You can see they've just spaced out a little bit, but I think, like Charlotte says, it's going to be interesting to see who goes for what. I wouldn't be surprised if Dom Stallman is just going to match Moss at this point. And it'll be interesting as well.
He's very good at his strategy, isn't he? Like German precision to a T, textbook, like bang on it. So
I think we don't want to miss this, when this pit stop happens.
Yeah, I mean, he's managed to keep Buchan. If you think Buchan's been all over him for the last probably five, potentially 6, 7 laps or so, arguably in a faster car, isn't carrying 30 kilos of ballast, and he's managed to keep him off the back. Now, it is that whole thing of who's going to go first, isn't it?
Yeah, Moss in the pits then. And is Stallman going to do the same? No. So, Stallman and Buchan stay out. Here we go then. How long's Moss going to stop for?
They've got to pretty much come in on the next lap.
Yeah. So, they're going to go for either what you call an overcut in this case, but I wouldn't be surprised if Moss just gets the undercut, comes out on fresher tyres sooner, and then while they're doing their in-laps, he'll be lapping even faster to extend his lead. But that's all assuming it goes smoothly.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the screen that we've got on here currently, so the Stallman-Buchan fight, but we're keeping an eye on Ollie, and it looks...
That was a splash and dash for Ollie Moss then.
That was not tyres, was it?
Yeah, that was just a splash and dash for Ollie in the background. Interesting then. There's a lot left to play out, I would say, in this so far.
We haven't really seen too much of Ollie.
Just seen that Ian Hudson's in the points. P11 currently.
Go on, Ian. I forgot what I was going to say now. He's just going
Sorry.
Whatever. I'm going to give up.
Okay, so any other questions or comments in chat for us? Do shout. Let's keep an eye. Yeah, so
keep an eye on.
It's whether these guys pit. That's what.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have to. They're going to have to.
I think this is going to run very close as well because
they have to for time.
What I was saying earlier is Ollie. He hasn't. There's been no dramatics from him, has he? He's qualified pole. He's pulled away. Maintained a 2-second gap. He hasn't tried to exceed it. It's always been around that just over 2-second gap. Nothing, again, nothing too crazy there. So has he been looking after his tyres? Is that what he's going for? Does he feel confident in that? Has he set the car up to be like that?
Right, here we go then.
Or
race leader into the pits. Will he hold on to that race lead? And Buchan nearly going into the back of Stallman. Buchan into the back, nearly. Of Stallman's car into the pits. So I've just noticed that Stuart French is only about a second and a bit behind Moss after his pit stops. So French in the pit stop phase gained about 4 or 5 seconds on Moss. So wouldn't be surprised if these two could come out in front, which would be a bit of a shame for Moss. So Moss just about to come past the pit lane now. You're looking for that black McLaren with blue elements to it. Has he just gone? He's just... No, Stallman's out in front. Stallman takes the lead then after the pit stop phase. German precision in the pit lane strikes again. 2 out of 2 in a row so far.
And that is done on pure tactics.
Yeah, that's the strategy playing through there. And Moss actually running onto the grass a little bit in the background. He will be fuming with that. Well... Both of the front
He's probably got distracted going, what's that Aston? Where's that come from?
Yeah, how on earth has he done that? Now, something that, we didn't see Moss's pit entry and pit exit, but something that drivers sometimes forget to practice, and I know Stallman would have, is exiting and entering the pit lane quickly, because if you can save half a second in, half a second out versus someone that's not really thought about it, then that's a second back in your pocket for nothing, just by coming into the pits on the limit.
Yeah, so let's keep an eye on this then. So there's a second gap between Stallman and Moss, and then between Moss and French, there's just over a second and a half gap. So this is all going to get very cozy very, very quickly.
And Buckin's actually the one that's come out the worst of that, because he's now dropped back to fourth, and is 6 seconds back from the lead.
Dom's.
So we just heard that Buckin he stopped for longer and put tyres on. Melvin apparently further down didn't.
Stallman really was a splash and dash.
Stallman also was a splash and dash.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to really be the last 5-10 minutes that's going to I guess shape this race. But look at that, Moss catching onto the back of Dominic Stallman here, desperately not wanting to let Stallman get away with that.
So Gert 14 on Twitch just said how many cars didn't pit.
Everyone pitted, I would say, because there's no. I'm just looking on the background. Yeah, there's no drive-throughs. The game instantly issues a stop and go penalty if you don't pit. As Moss challenges for the lead, if we could switch up ahead. Oh, we are up ahead. Good. Sorry, I thought. Yeah. Good. So Moss in the black and blue McLaren fighting the blue Aston Martin to retake the lead of this race after pit stops. Both cars haven't taken any tyres yet, so they will be starting to get slippery and slipperier now.
So they're now going to start to come up against traffic now. So this is where blue flags are hopefully going to come out, and drivers are going to use their mirrors and be conscious of this, because this is very easily going to start to hold up. So this is Kidd and Tyler.
Yeah, Neil Kidd getting out of the way.
Yeah.
In the Sheba garage car. French has also got to clear him now as well, so I think he'll be letting him come through. Oh, just hoping that Neil opting to. Neil actually lost that just in the back of shot there. I don't know if you caught that. Hopefully that didn't hold French up too much. No, he looks okay. So, okay then. Still, Ollie trying to get through. This is a really tough time for these guys at the minute. And, so far the traffic's got out of the way pretty well for them.
Yeah, so...
Any car you see in front of that blue Aston Martin is being lapped and needs to move out of the way. Actually, just not put up a fight. As Moss then tries to go around the outside into Brooklands. Doesn't make it stick. He's really trying to capitalise on that traffic. But nice, fair, clean racing so far. And Dominic Stallman not phased by that at all and just sticks to his line, gets a nice exit and gives himself a bit of breathing space there.
Good job by these back markers as well. Really, really good job by these guys.
Yeah, it's a very nerve-wracking time. So it is Arnold now, the next car ahead on track, number 18, who needs to keep an eye on his mirrors, ready for these guys to come through. The driver will be seeing blue flags coming up on their HUD, which basically tells them the leaders are coming through to lap you. You need to give them space.
Sat here silently in anticipation.
Yeah, just checking some stuff on the background as well. Still, Moss is having a little look at every single corner. I wouldn't be surprised if Stallman just winces a little bit. But of course, that's probably the worst thing to do. So you've got to try and stay nice and calm. So now Arnold's got to really think about getting out of the way for these two and not cause any issues. They're about to come onto a little straight section. Actually getting a better exit here. He goes, then moves over to the side.
Good job.
Well done, Arnold.
Good job.
That's what we like to see. That was close, but he done what he was meant to do, which was, not be unpredictable. He stayed on the same line, and give these guys a chance to pass. Moss was a bit brave going around the outside there, but he's literally, you can just tell, can't you? He's clambering to get back into the lead of this race.
Again, for anyone that's just joined, Moss is currently in the lighter out of the two cars. Dom is running 30 kilos of ballast, so P Well, P1 to P3, going from 30 kilos down to 10 kilos will get added depending on where they, who's who and where it finishes, and they carry that over to the next round. So,
and we will try and catch up with some other places in this race once it settles down, because something's going to have to change in the near future, I imagine. But if you are looking to find out, Chrissy Palmer's made it back to P9 after all the pit stops, so he obviously had a good stop. Melvin is in 7th for the InGear Motorsport car. Curran is in 6th. Corbin is in 5th. Buckin is in 4th. If we just look down to the back end of points, Billingham still hanging on to points in P10. Bedoya, who just rejoined us, in P11. Massey in 12th. Again, more traffic this time. That was Andreas again, just getting out of the way, doing a nice job of that. And you can see French, the red Aston Martin in the background, will be looking to do the same. Definitely one of the challenges you see when you have kind of mixed abilities on the grid, or mixed speeds of drivers, is that they have to try and get out of the way at the same time. As I just see Wood has a bit of an incident a bit further back in P23 there, out of shot. If we could get the camera back on the action then, because I think if you blink you're probably going to miss this. Something's going to happen at some point. I just hope that they manage to keep it all on the tarmac facing the right direction. Just keep an eye if anyone's had any other questions for us. Yeah, Girk, if you didn't catch that earlier, basically everyone did pit, so all cars pitted within the pit window, which was good. What do we reckon, Warren? Kirk is... oh, no, every time I go to look at something else, I think Moss is going to make a move. Kirk is in P16. It's got about 14 seconds to the next cars, and then they're all quite close together. So he could still achieve points as everyone else starts to go off, because don't forget, Kirk took tyres. Oh, Moss coming in.
This is making me nervous.
I think we're going to have to just switch away in a second, just so I can see something else. Notice, while these two are having a bit of a squabble, French is getting closer.
He's clawing back, isn't he?
This is going to become a free car battle.
He's just over a second off of Moss at the moment, and there's pretty much a sheet of paper between Moss and Stallman. So, did French put tyres on?
Yeah, I think French kind of put tyres on, because he was ahead of Moss when he exited the pits.
About 5 seconds, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, French must have had a lightning pit stop. But, I mean, Moss definitely... I think Moss might have refueled or something like that, and Stallman didn't, which would explain why Stallman was a little bit slower for the early stages of the race. Whereas Moss, if he went light on fuel, would have been quicker in the opening stages, but had to be longer in the pits. So I would say that's what happened. Sadly, we don't have the luxury of seeing all of that. We don't have a team boss to go to on a pit wall either to ask. Because when you're playing these sim racing games, you are the team boss and the driver all rolled into one, and the engineers. You even have to actually try and adjust the settings for your fuel and tyre pressures on your dash while you're driving. So, yeah, hats off to them all so far, because they've been doing a good job.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this format of the one longer race versus two shorter ones.
Yeah, I think particularly with the pit stop in there to shake things up.
It's working really well. So far. Could eat my words halfway through the series, but...
Just seen Roland Stallman has picked up a place past Melvin. This is looking very close this time, coming into the loop section. And actually, yeah, there goes Moss then up the inside. But Stallman, the wily fox of Stallman there, just knew exactly what was going to happen there, and went for the cutback. And look, that's going to put Moss into the clutches of French if he's not careful, as they now begin their run down into Brooklands and the final parts of this lap, which will then become lap 22 with 15 minutes on the clock. So 60 minutes in the race, 15 minutes to go. I can't believe we're nearly there already.
Time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun. We have got a replay of what happened to Chrissy Palmer earlier on, but right. I daren't...
Not at the moment. It's on socials. I just had actually a quick check-in on Facebook just to see what's going on. It's quite Benny in the track control, whatever. Is ready, but videos first, the action.
Enthusiastic as ever there from race director Ben. Loving life in his race control box over there. It looks like when these two actually settle down a little bit, they hold French away and actually pull away a little bit. So did Buckin stay okay that bit further back? Yes, he is. And he's actually got Corbin on his back. So the Lexus of Buchan and Corbin in the Nissan, just in the background of some of your shots there, the E-Team Brick cars running 4th and 5th. So going okay for them guys too in the later stages of the race. It's all kind of just shifted around that little bit, hasn't it? Got Easter and his Lamborghini a bit further back on track, but quite a bit further back in the actual race.
Where's Harry gone?
Harry's P8, I think.
Right, Chrissy's now PA.
Where has Harry gone? Oh, Harry, what have you done? What's happened now?
What's happened now? Sound.
Oh, Moss having a little look again. No, didn't make a stick this time. That was where he put the move on last time. I mean, Chrissy Palmer's back up into 8th after falling down to something like 20th. He
does make it hard work for himself, doesn't he?
I think he just likes the challenge sometimes.
He loves it, yeah.
I'm not sure if Melvin's disconnected or if I'm just being blind. Perhaps one of the guys will know. I'm going to keep an eye on YouTube now because or Twitch.
Up,
yeah, a wild Harry Melvin might appear.
Okay, so these guys are going to start to come into traffic again.
Yeah. So again, let's see what happens. So I think that was Wood. Kirk's out of the race as well. I've just seen Kirk stopped. So we'll find out what happened there in a minute as well. Well, it just seems as we've got to this final quarter of the race, we've just lost a couple cars very, very quickly. So we'll see if we can find out what that is and see if we can pull any replays up or whatever ready for when the time comes. So Dominic Stallman got the slightly better run through traffic that time. You can see he's just etched away a tiny bit. French also has just dropped back a tiny bit. So still, Dominic Stallman hanging on to the lead with 30 kilograms of ballast in that Aston Martin. A really good effort.
Yeah, Wood needs to give way to French now. Probably held on to that a corner more than he should have. But yeah, he's moved out of the way now.
So again, starting to come around to that sector of the lap where Moss seems very, very strong, and he actually has to go a little bit deep into the chicane there at Vale to not hit Stallman. So just starting to get a little bit, I guess, scary, a little bit of a lack of grip there. You've got to be very, very careful now you don't make a mistake and cost yourself too much time. He's got enough time to come back again, I'm sure, with the pace that he's got in that McLaren and lack of ballast. But yeah, got to be careful that he doesn't overcook it all too much too soon. Of course, if you flat spot your tyres, you slide too much, get them too hot, suddenly that performance just slips away from you. But yeah, Stallman's doing a fantastic job of keeping that car wide, isn't he?
Yeah. Warren just said, how are these guys doing this with no tyre change? And do you know what? It's a bloody good effort is what I would say.
It's a very good effort.
I can't imagine this is easy for them. They'll be really fighting against the car now, won't they?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've had occasions out on tracks with tyres fading.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not
getting cold at night.
It's not enjoyable. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. It's almost one of them things you just want the race to be over with.
Speaking of not enjoyable, Harry has indeed popped up on Twitch as we expected. What happened, Harry? Looked like it was actually all coming together quite nicely for a track that wasn't for the Mercedes. But yeah, what happened? I mean, we seem to have lost Heath as well, which is a real shame. I just saw him literally teleport to the pit. It's on my screen in the background. So not sure what happened. Potentially so's Andreas as well. Yeah, he has. Arnold's still running though, which is good to see. Oh, Heath's come back out again. Interesting. I thought he'd stopped. But we'll see if we can pick that up. I mean, do you think we have a moment? I think we have a moment. There's a chance of a moment here. But French is about to join this battle for the lead. With 10 minutes to go, there's about to be 3 cars fighting for the lead after an hour of racing.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
3 different teams, essentially, as well.
And Buchan and Corbin, they're only 4 seconds off of them. And if these top 3 start to scrabble enough, 10 minutes is enough time to drop 4 seconds off a second a lap. Just scrabbling around, which is easy done around here. So it's not all is lost for those guys. Yeah, let's just.
I've just noticed on my screen it says that Ian Hudson didn't pit. So I feel like maybe that wasn't showing up earlier. So that's either something that's just gone a bit glitchy on my background screen, or Someone didn't read the rules.
Can we... Let's drop it down to him. Let's drop it down to Ian and just see what is showing on our screen.
I'll keep it on the other battle.
Very quickly, for a moment if we can. Benny in the background. Yeah, it is showing that he has it. I can see it. You're flicking through. It's showing that Ian hasn't done a pit stop. Now, wouldn't he automatically get a drive-through penalty for that?
Just saw that Harry said the Wi-Fi wizards cast a horrendous spell on him, and that was his issue there. Yeah, no, a real shame after such a strong result, but of course, good result last time in P2. So you kind of got that banker of a bad one. It's Chrissy that needed a good one today, and P8 not too bad, which he's running in at the moment. Make up for his Alt F4 from the dog moment last time.
Yeah.
And by the way, everyone, driver of the day votes. We've almost forgot to start taking votes, but get your votes in for driver of the day because it is that time.
Yeah, I'll post it notes out.
Yeah, we'll have to start taking some tallies, so let us know. I'm not allowed to vote, but I do have a bit of a bias towards Kirk for that little incident, not being able to start the race.
100%.
So would be nice to see, but we'll see what sort of votes start coming in anyway, of course. We can have a quick look at a couple of the replays after the race if we need to, I guess. So, still then, the battle raging on between Stallman, Moss and French for first, second and third places at the moment here at Silverstone tonight. If you've joined us for the first race, or for the first time you've joined one of our races, I should say, good to know what you think. I know there's a few new people at the start, so it was good to see a couple of Arnold's fans in there. I think Arnold's, he's running P22 at the moment, which is good. It's just finishing these races when you've got some of the sort of speed of drivers we have in here is a big achievement half the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, we said it last week, we actually say it every week, but it is worth noting that this is a fast grid now.
Yeah.
There's some seasoned racers in here, having the Team Ebert guys in, they do a hell of a lot in different championships. That Heath does, and you can see it, can't you? You like we say, a year in of kind of doing this, you can certainly see how quickly the pace of the grid has progressed.
And actually, some of the drivers that we've had for a while that would have been a bit further back are now right at the front end as well, or lap times at the front end. All right, Kirk's had a bit of bad luck, but Kirk was matching the lap times of the leading drivers when he was
he is usually always there or thereabouts.
So good to see that as well. As Moss again looking a little bit to the inside, but not this time, and not any of the previous 7 or 8 or 10 times that he's had a chance to look so far. But this is the point now where, as he's looking to get past Stallman, French is getting closer and closer in that Red Shell Racing Aston Martin just behind it, you can see. And, suddenly that move for the lead could actually result in dropping back to P3. But Stallman doing a fantastic job with that 30 kilograms of ballast. Actually goes a tiny bit wide there. Moss looking to try and get the run on him. Hopefully they give each other enough space as they go into the hairpin here. Stallman looking to hang it around the outside. Then he gets the inside for the next part of the loop. Moss looking to try and get a cut back now as we're going to make our way down onto the back straight. And actually Stallman not giving me any more room than he has to. Let's hope that Moss gets over that curb okay. Stallman, that's the hardest I've seen him fight for a place. And I think he knows that he has not got the pace to come back through. That was firm but fair racing between both of them. Great stuff by Ollie Moss then. Gets himself back into the lead of this race. Dominic Stallman certainly made him work for it.
A second of sigh of relief there. It's like, okay, right now, head down.
Yeah, I was just getting ready for that to all go horribly, horribly wrong for them guys. And French probably eyes lit up with excitement that the cars ahead might have a little bit of a tap coming together. But they made it work. So good job as they're now coming up on the back of Sharman.
Yeah, so we've had a few votes for driver of the day come through. So Harry Melvin has actually voted for French. Faultless performance, absolutely rapid and very respectful. So we like that. Good sportsmanship or womanship or whatever shit. We've had 2 votes for Corbin. And of course we've had a vote for Heath as well. So
So Corbin currently leading the driver of the day vote.
With 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, when the flag drops, then and all drivers have crossed the line.
When the flag drops, the voting stops.
Yeah, nice.
Every other Tuesday, people.
Do you know what is interesting? On this particular occasion, it's a very rare occasion because Ollie Moss potentially made a bit of a mistake with his pit strategy, but he didn't pay for the mistake twice. He only paid for it once, and he's now back in the lead.
I was waiting for it. That was what I thought was going to be the second one.
So yeah, a couple of votes for Corbin then so far. All you need to do is type the driver's name in the chat wherever you're watching. That's all you need to do to get the driver of the day vote. So good to see as Moss goes through the inside of Ian Hudson there. Ian getting out of the way nicely in the McLaren, and they continue their charge through the pack. And French actually is now on the back of Tom Stallman as well. Again, it's just such a tight race at the front here. If someone does want us to quickly cut to anything else, then please do. Did you just vote for yourself in the chat? Oh.
No, I'm just saying.
I just read
my
that
thing is like
vote for your
CD38 Burridge, so I was just putting my name on it.
Yeah, I mean...
Charlotte's definitely been waiting to drop that line for a while. Do you know what? I actually just sorted it on the spot, so I'm quite happy with that one for a Tuesday. Thank you very much. I'll be putting that in my notes to use again.
It looks like it should be Thursday or something, to be honest. Don't know why. It's been one day back after a bank holiday. I don't know why they're so hard.
Oh, we've got another another vote for Ben Corbin, so car number 96 for driver of the day. So he's certainly done a very good job of rallying the troops, which is what it's all about.
That is what it's for.
Exactly that. That's what it's all about. So 3 votes for him currently.
I mean, that's from Lauren Corbin. So I wonder if there's a bit of bias coming in from that one. I think you're right.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
Right, good to see, Lauren. Thanks for your vote. And it was Ren as well, and Spice Pears has been a few of you. And really appreciate any comment or view on the streams. You know, it really helps.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, we'll go all YouTuber on you, streamer on you.
And then I'm going to run for Mayor of London. Woo!
I know, that's mad, isn't it? YouTuber running for Mayor of London. Okay, right then. Anything else that we should pick up on in these closing minutes? And we need to make sure that we don't miss Moss crossing the line, providing all goes well. So Sharman's still running in 27th. I'm just kind of looking through the field in the order they are on the track at the moment, not necessarily position order. Curran has done well. Should we just...
We haven't checked in with Curran.
Yeah, let's drop back a little bit. We've not seen much of the spearhead, guys. I always like to let's take a good look at that livery for a second, because I think it's such a fantastic that he does. And I think it's Michael Curran that makes them for the guys. He's added on some purple wing mirrors to his latest edition, which actually goes quite nicely with the Cadbury logo on the back. So purple Cadbury kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So it's one of the things that we do is let the guys make their own liveries. So really talented as well, some of the stuff they come up with. Just in the back of shot there, you can see Arnold in P21 as the leader starts the final lap. Roland Stallman in P7. Great points for Vegas in performance then. And actually great points for E-Team Brit with 4th and 5th. They are split up between a couple of different teams, so it doesn't necessarily mean they're all like that. And Chrissy Palmer in P8. Just having a look. Billingham on his first outing under the Attack Vector name. Down in P9. There it is on your screens at the moment, closely followed by Massey and the other Attack Vector racing car. So these guys are teammates in different cars.
Okay. I think with 30 seconds left on the clock, we should probably start to shimmy our way back
Probably even sooner than that. Klimpson is having a bit of a fight with Pound at the moment. Let's just very quickly pick up on Pound's car. And then, in fact, is Moss about to cross the line? Where is he?
Yeah, let's go.
No, we're all right for a minute. Just quickly jump to Pound. Nissan on Nissan. Because these guys are having a good little battle, and then I'll get an eye on Moss ready for the big moment. Renberg in 12 at the minute. Here's clicking away in the background, probably. Yeah, he's a couple corners away yet. So you can still then... that That's Pound in the purple and white Nissan, trying to get past Klimpson in the red and white Nissan, as I think they've just caught up to either the back of Max Spooner or traffic. Hard to tell from that angle. I think that's traffic. Okay, then we'll have to just leave that there for a moment and jump back to our race leader. Ollie Moss led the entire part of his first stint, then had a bit of a mix-up in the pit stops to the crafty German of Stallman, fought his way back past valiantly, and then comes across to take his first victory with us at InGear Motorsport. Fantastic job to Ollie Moss. Really, really good, strong drive there, and takes the win at round 2 here at Silverstone. Really good stuff. And then soon behind him, or straight across the line, was Dominic Stallman in P2, which will definitely cement his championship lead position so far after winning the first round. Stuart French, also a fantastic drive in P3. He's actually probably not had the amount of credit he deserves in this race, because he's just chipped away at it.
Yeah.
And potentially
was like Harry says in Twitch, rapid, but just been absolutely faultless. And Ollie Moss is enjoying that win there as he should. That was a hard-fought win there for it. So driver of the day then was Ben Corbin. So car number 96, Ben Corbin. Well done.
Let's take a look at him, shall we, quickly?
Yeah, for rallying the troops.
There he is, part of the 2 E-Team Brick drivers coming in on their end lap together. Corbin and Buck in there, 4th and 5th. Very strong result for them, actually, isn't it? They've been putting some good laps in, I know, practicing, and they've been busy racing in other series as well at the moment. So, again, great to have the E-Team Brick guys here, because there's a few of them in there. Can't quite spend enough time to show absolutely everyone all at once. I've just seen that Ian Hudson's penalty got applied in the end for not pitting, so I'm sure he'll be wondering what that is if he didn't realise there was mandatory pit stops, but we'll be able to sort that out for next time.
But
might have just missed the pit window, to be fair.
His first race out, I think this is his first major race as far as we know. So didn't get into any scraps or anything like that. Good, really good, solid effort.
Cool. Well, I think what we'll do then is we'll see who we can chat with in a minute. But in terms of replays and that type of stuff, there wasn't any major events, I think, that we need to cover off in great detail. So
George has been throwing them on all our socials all over the evening. I'm about to sneeze again.
Yeah. That's all right. You sneeze, I'll take over. But I was going to say, hit us up on social media. So all the usual places of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even a little bit on TikTok and LinkedIn as well. So you'll find us all over the web. So do come and search for InGear Motorsport, and we'll pop up, and you can find those on there. Ollie Moss has just brought his party into Twitch as well. Thanks, Ollie. Fantastic effort. Be interesting to see what anyone watching on Ollie's stream thought of that, because that was a pretty damn close race for quite a lot of that race there, but made it through. That was a rather close battle. But cool. Good to see you over in here in our chat. So thanks for doing that. But any questions from anyone before we do disappear, let us know. I'm just going to see. I don't even know if Ollie's actually in Discord for me to bring him up to talk to, because I think that would be cool. But everyone kind of all spreads themselves out when we start racing, so they've got some space. Yes, he is. Yeah, I haven't checked if he's ready or available, but we'll chance our arm, shall we, and see what he says.
You're just throwing him straight into it, the poor guy.
If it'll let me move the Discord's a real pain in the background for doing that. Right. I've got to do it like a bit at a time. He's probably thinking, what on earth is going on? Right. Here we go. Ollie, hello, are you there?
Evening.
Sorry, I have to kind of drag you between the chats in Discord for some reason. It doesn't just let me bring you straight into the commentary tonight.
That's fine.
Wondering what's going on. Well, awesome job, mate. That was one hell of a drive, really. Tell us how that was from your end.
Quali went better than expected. I set my personal best, so I was over the moon with that. And then race went off to the perfect start, just bridging that gap to second and third. But then I messed up my pit stop. I was miles away from my box. So I came up behind Stallman. And then he was...
I've just lost Ollie.
He was very quick.
Sorry. Charlotte was struggling back. Yeah, I mean, he was doing a good job up. So it was a missed pit box then that cost you a bit of time in the pits.
Yeah. I think I lost like 3 or 4 seconds, so that was annoying.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, he wasn't sure quite what happened there because even French come out quite close to you.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what about those final closing stages of the race? Because of course you were trying to get past Dom for quite a while, and I mean, I must admit, I think I closed my eyes a few times.
So did I.
Yeah, well, that's not good.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, did you have a place in mind that you were trying to line him up for, or was it just taking every chance as it came?
Into the tight complex, he was braking really early, and I could. The McLaren was much better on the brakes through there, so I was eyeing it up for a few laps. But yeah, the moment arose, and I had to take it.
Yeah, no, you could see it was kind of coming for a while, and he'd done a good job, I think, making that Aston pretty wide. But eventually, he found a way through.
Yeah,
cool. What are your thoughts looking towards the next round?
Dunton's one of my favourite tracks, so hopefully can keep this form up. But yeah, I'm just knackered for tonight.
Yeah, a couple of people saying in chat, how are you guys hanging on? Because you didn't take tyres either. So
no, yeah,
it's
very understeery towards the end.
Cool. No, good stuff.
Right.
And thanks
Cheers,
for hopping
guys.
over on Twitch, and I'll let you go and get some rest.
No
I'll speak to you later.
Yeah, cheers,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Cool. Well, there we are, everyone. Let's just have a quick scan through, see if there's any other comments come through from anyone. No, looking okay so far. And yeah, Ben Corbin for driver of the day as well then.
Yeah.
Well, there we are. Ollie Moss then takes the win at the next round. We'll get the championship results out and publish onto socials. The best place to get involved with any of this, if you want to either drive or just be a little bit more involved in the Discord side of things and seeing what everyone's up to, is to join the Discord. So links for that are available across the various social channels. And of course, you can go to InGearMotorsport.com. And there's a link to join Discord on there. So that's probably the best place to go if you want to do more. And thanks to everyone that has joined in and watched tonight. As I always say, yeah, it's been nice. It's always really, really cool for us to see more people commenting and chatting. We're in the midst of planning an anniversary race, as it will be. It's actually just gone a year since our first live stream, and it's changed quite a bit in that year. So we'll do some content around that. And yeah, any ideas people have, and keep an eye on socials will be fantastic. Any last things from you from that race? Favorite moments, worst moments?
I think Ollie, just that whole battle between them two, I think both of them deserve so much credit, but I actually think it was nice to kind of see the second round and everyone settle down a bit more, which I said it at the start of the race, that always happens with the championship. So it's nice to kind of feel like this championship's really kind of getting into its stride and under its way, and it shows how open this championship is as well. So yeah, looking forward to Donington a couple of weeks time, because it's one of my favorite circuits. So
yeah, me too.
And actually the last time I raced there was under this format, so
very good then. Yeah,
excited.
Well, that'll be in 2 weeks then for anyone that wants to watch. But other than that, that is all from us for this Tuesday evening here at Silverstone. Thank you very much for everyone that's tuned in and watched. And as always, thanks to everyone that helps, our admins that help in the server. Of course, George and Ben in the background for the live streams, and Charlotte as well for always giving up her Tuesday to help me commentate.
Holding it all together.
Somehow. And then we're back to work tomorrow doing our real jobs. But yeah, it's all good fun. So thanks everyone, and we will see you soon.
Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot like the prodigal son.
There we go, green lights, and we're off once again.
prodigal son. Bigger, better, leany, meany, money, mo, and flower. You're the chosen one.